Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Sam Fury Show. This episode is a summary of the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Atomic Habits by James Clear explores the power of small, consistent habit changes, emphasizing effective systems, habits' impact on identity, and practical strategies for habit formation and change. The fundamentals: why tiny changes make a big difference. Chapter 1. The surprising power of atomic habits. This chapter emphasizes the transformative power of small, consistent improvements in habits and the compounding effect they have over time. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Implement small, 1% improvements consistently in various aspects of your life for significant long-term benefits. 2. Focus on building effective systems rather than merely setting goals, as systems ensure continuous progress. 3. Be patient and persistent with new habits, as their significant impact often becomes apparent only after reaching a critical threshold. 4. Recognize that habits are a double-edged sword. Cultivate positive habits diligently while avoiding negative ones. 5. Understand that success is largely influenced by daily habits and routines, not just by major one-time actions. Chapter 2. How your habits shape your identity and vice versa. This chapter discusses the difficulty of forming good habits versus bad ones, focusing on identity as the key to lasting change. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Focus on identity change rather than just habit or outcome change for meaningful and lasting self-improvement. 2. Reinforce your desired identity through small, consistent actions that align with who you want to become. 3. Shift beliefs about yourself to enable the formation of new positive habits and the removal of negative ones. 4. Use every action as a vote for the type of person you wish to become, building evidence for your new identity. 5. Continuously re-evaluate and adjust your beliefs and identity to foster growth and achieve desired changes in behavior. Chapter 3. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. This chapter explains how habits form through a 4-step process and introduces the 4 laws of behavior change. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Identify cues that trigger your habits and make them obvious to initiate desired behaviors. 2. Increase the attractiveness of new habits to develop a strong motivational pull towards performing them. 3. Simplify the actions required for your habits, making them easy and accessible to perform consistently. 4. Ensure that your habits provide satisfying rewards to reinforce their continuation and establishment. 5. Apply the inverse of these laws to break bad habits. Make cues invisible, habits unattractive, actions difficult, and rewards unsatisfying. The first law: make it obvious. Chapter 4. The Man Who Didn't Look Right. This chapter explores the power of subconscious cues in habit formation and the importance of awareness for behavior change. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Increase your awareness of daily habits by tracking them to understand their impact on your life. 2. Use the pointing and calling method to verbalize your actions, making habits more conscious and controllable. 3. Apply the habit scorecard technique to categorize habits as good, bad, or neutral based on your long-term goals. 4. Recognize the cues that trigger automatic habits to gain control over them and make deliberate changes. 5. Reflect on how each habit aligns with your desired identity to determine if it's beneficial or harmful. Chapter 5. The Best Way to Start a New Habit. This chapter discusses strategies for starting new habits effectively, emphasizing the importance of specific planning. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Formulate specific implementation intentions for new habits by defining when and where you will perform them. 2. Use time and location as triggers to create consistent cues for initiating new habits. 3. Apply the habit stacking method. After a current habit, perform a new, desired habit to build a routine. 4. Make habit cues obvious and actionable to increase the likelihood of habit formation and adherence. 5. Regularly review and adjust your habits and their triggers for continuous improvement and better alignment with goals. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. This chapter highlights how environmental design can significantly impact habit formation and behavior change. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Adjust your environment to make cues for good habits obvious and accessible, enhancing the likelihood of engaging in them. 2. Reduce exposure to cues that trigger undesirable habits, thereby minimizing their occurrence. 3. Create specific designated areas for different activities to encourage habit consistency and focus. 4. Use the strategy of habit stacking by linking new habits with established routines to enhance habit formation. 5. Recognize and utilize the power of small environmental changes to significantly influence behavior and habit development. Chapter 7. The Secret to Self-Control. This chapter examines how environment and cues, rather than sheer motivation, are crucial in habit formation and behavior change. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Restructure your environment to remove cues that trigger unwanted habits, effectively reducing their occurrence. 2. Focus on altering your surroundings to make positive habit cues more visible and accessible. 3. Utilize implementation intentions by specifying the when, where, and how of your desired habits to increase adherence. 4. Adopt the habit stacking technique by linking a new habit to an existing one, creating a stronger habit formation routine. 5. Acknowledge that self-control is a limited resource. Optimize your environment for success rather than relying solely on willpower. The second law, make it attractive. Chapter 8, How to Make a Habit. Irresistible. This chapter delves into the psychology of making habits irresistible by understanding and leveraging human motivation. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Use temptation bundling by pairing a habit you need to do with an activity you enjoy to increase habit adherence. 2. Implement the habit stacking strategy to create a structured routine that links a necessary habit with a desirable one. 3. Recognize and utilize the dopamine-driven feedback loop, where anticipation of a reward increases the likelihood of engaging in a habit. 4. Design your environment to make desired habits more attractive and easier to adopt. 5. Be mindful of supernormal stimuli and their impact on habit formation, adjusting your habits to align with healthy rewards. Chapter 9. The Role of Family and Friends in Shaping Your Habits. This chapter discusses how social influences from family, friends, and society shape our habits. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Join groups where the behavior you desire is the normal behavior, enhancing your likelihood of adopting similar habits. 2. Engage in behaviors that align with the norms of your social group to build habits that feel natural and are reinforced by your peers. 3. Imitate behaviors from close relationships, as proximity significantly influences your habits and daily actions. 4. Observe and adopt habits of high status or successful individuals, as these can motivate and guide your own habit formation. 5. Be mindful of societal and cultural norms that may unconsciously shape your habits and choose environments that support positive habit development. Chapter 10. How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. This chapter explores how reframing perceptions and associations can make undesirable habits unattractive, aiding in habit change. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Reframe your mindset about challenging habits to view them as opportunities for growth and positive change, not burdens. 2. Develop a motivation ritual by pairing a habit you're trying to establish with an activity you enjoy to create positive associations. 3. Identify and focus on the deeper underlying motives behind your habits, not just the surface-level cravings. 4. Actively seek to perceive the benefits of not engaging in a bad habit, making the habit less appealing and easier to avoid. 5. Use the power of prediction and feeling. Anticipate the negative outcomes of bad habits to reinforce their unattractiveness. The third law, make it easy. Chapter 11, walk slowly but never backward. This chapter emphasizes the importance of repetition over perfection in habit formation, highlighting action over planning. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Prioritize the frequency of performing a new habit over the duration or intensity to enhance habit formation. 2. Focus more on taking action and engaging in the habit rather than spending excessive time planning or strategizing. 3. Recognize that habits become more automatic and easier to perform with repeated practice, not just the passage of time. 4. Implement habits in a way that makes them easy and convenient to perform, increasing the likelihood of adherence. 5. Use the concept of making it easy to reduce the effort required in practicing a new habit, aiding in its establishment. Chapter 12. The Law of Least Effort. This chapter focuses on the importance of making desired behaviors easy and reducing effort in habit formation. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Design your environment to make the desired habits the easiest and most convenient option. 2. Increase the friction for bad habits to make them more difficult and less likely to occur. 3. Prime your environment in advance to facilitate future habits, such as preparing exercise clothes the night before. 4. Focus on creating systems that make it effortless to start and maintain good habits. 5. Recognize that human behavior tends to follow the path of least resistance, so tailor your surroundings accordingly. Chapter 13. How to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. This chapter explores the 2-minute rule for habit formation and emphasizes starting with small, manageable actions. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Scale down new habits to 2-minute tasks to ensure they are easy to start and consistently follow. 2. Focus on the ritual of starting a habit, not on the entire process, to build a consistent routine. 3. Use decisive moments wisely to set a productive trajectory for your day with simple, positive choices. 4. Gradually increase the complexity of a habit, starting with the 2-minute version and building it up progressively. 5. Embed your desired habits into your daily life by making them as effortless and accessible as possible. Chapter 14. How to make good habits. Inevitable and bad habits impossible. This chapter discusses strategies to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible, focusing on commitment devices and automation. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Utilize commitment devices to lock in future behavior, making it harder to fall into bad habits. 2. automate good habits with technology, or one-time actions that ensure they occur regularly without additional effort. 3. Increase friction for bad habits, making them more difficult and less appealing to engage in. 4. Develop rituals for starting good habits, making the initiation of the habit easier and more consistent. 5. Integrate small, manageable actions into your daily routine to gradually build towards larger, beneficial habits. The fourth law: make it satisfying. Chapter 15. The cardinal rule of behavior change. This chapter explores the importance of making habits satisfying to ensure their consistency and longevity, focusing on instant rewards. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Incorporate immediate, enjoyable elements into new habits to increase the likelihood of consistent practice and long-term adoption. 2. Create visible, tangible rewards for habits of avoidance to make the benefits of not engaging in a bad habit clear and satisfying. 3. Use short-term rewards that align with your long-term goals and identity to avoid conflicting motivations and sustain habit development. 4. Recognize and appreciate the small successes and immediate benefits that come from new habits to foster a sense of achievement. 5. Gradually shift focus from external rewards to intrinsic rewards, reinforcing the habit as part of your identity and personal satisfaction. Chapter 16. How to stick with good habits. Every. This chapter focuses on the power of visual progress tracking for habit formation and consistency, emphasizing the benefits of immediate satisfaction from small successes. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Use a simple and visual method like the paperclip strategy to track daily progress and reinforce commitment to your habits. To do the paperclip strategy, place paperclips in one jar, each one representing a daily habit. Move them from one jar to another after completing each task. 2. Implement a habit tracker such as crossing off days on a calendar to maintain a consistent record of your habit streak. 3. Embrace the mantra, never miss twice, to ensure quick recovery and prevent forming new undesired habits after a lapse. 4. Focus on tracking only the most important habits and whenever possible, automate the tracking to minimize effort and ensure consistency. 5. Recognize the limitations of habit tracking and remember that not all important elements can be quantified. Focus on overall progress. Chapter 17. How an accountability partner can change everything. This chapter explores strategies for making bad habits unsatisfying, focusing on immediate consequences and accountability to discourage negative behaviors. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Implement immediate consequences for bad habits to quickly learn from mistakes and avoid repeating them. 2. Create a habit contract with clear punishments for not adhering to good habits involving accountability partners for added pressure. 3. Use immediate rewards for good habits and immediate penalties for bad ones to reinforce desired behavior changes. 4. Choose punishments for bad habits that are strong enough to deter the behavior but reasonable and enforceable. 5. Select an accountability partner and make commitments public to leverage social pressure in reinforcing good habits and deterring bad ones. Advanced tactics: how to go from being merely good to being truly great. Chapter 18. The truth about talent, when genes matter and when they don't. This chapter emphasizes the role of genetics in success and habit formation and how aligning activities with natural inclinations enhances habit sustainability. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Choose habits and activities that align with your natural inclinations and abilities for increased ease and satisfaction. 2. Acknowledge and leverage your unique genetic predispositions to identify areas of opportunity and potential success. 3. Experiment with different activities to discover what you naturally excel at and enjoy, focusing more on what suits your personality. 4. Create or seek environments and activities where your unique traits and talents give you a natural advantage. 5. Work hard on the areas where your natural abilities give you an edge, using your genetics as a guide to focus efforts. Chapter 19. The Goldilocks Rule: How to Stay Motivated in Life and Work. This chapter focuses on maintaining motivation and interest in habits by finding tasks of manageable difficulty, embracing boredom, and persisting. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Tackle tasks and develop habits that are challenging yet achievable to stay motivated and engaged. 2. Recognize and prepare for the inevitability of boredom in long-term habits and find ways to persist through it. 3. Focus on consistency in your habits, even on days when motivation is low, to build professional discipline. 4. Introduce variety or slight changes in your routine to maintain interest and avoid monotony. 5. Embrace and love the repetitive nature of habits to achieve mastery and long-term success. Chapter 20. The Downside of Creating Good Habits. This chapter emphasizes the importance of balancing automatic habits with deliberate practice and reflection for achieving mastery. Here are the 5 biggest actionable takeaways. 1. Combine ingrained habits with deliberate practice to progress towards mastery in any field. 2. Regularly assess and refine your habits to avoid plateauing and ensure continuous improvement. 3. Use reflection and review strategies to stay aware of your performance and make necessary adjustments. 4. Avoid allowing your identity to become overly tied to specific habits to maintain flexibility for growth and adaptation. 5. Embrace change and be willing to modify or abandon habits that no longer serve your goals or align with your identity. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Sam Fury Show. If you found this episode useful, let me know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com and join my free newsletter. As a subscriber, you'll receive no more than 1 email a week containing a roundup of my latest posts, as well as exclusive content which is only for my mailing list. It's completely free to join at samfury.com.